All right, good afternoon. Eric Arnold here in the Sports Barn. Thursday, September 24th. Here to get you the weekend's college football picks. We got one NFL pick for you, the Thursday night football pick. What else do we have for you? Baseball-wise, nothing. I mean, other than just observing this, photo finish of like 17 teams trying to make the playoffs. I guess our Phillies are still in it somehow. They're going to have to win 2 out of 3 at a minimum this weekend at Tampa to have a chance. That's going to be tough. But then I see the Reds. They got to go up there to Minnesota, and Minnesota they're still got something to play for. So they're kind of forced to play. So that's probably not good for the Reds. Team the Phillies are chasing, the Marlins. They're at Yankee Stadium. That's not good for the Marlins. That's good for us, the Phillies. Anything could happen here. You know, the one team I thought was looking pretty good is probably the Giants. I hate to say that because the Phillies are chasing them. They're looking pretty good. They're probably going to make it. Anything could happen there. If you care, do you care? I don't know that this baseball season's really attracting a lot of eyeballs. Speaking of eyeballs, I watched something interesting last night on YouTube. Two guys that are pro YouTubers, professional YouTubers. J.P. Sears, he's a comedian, I guess, if you will, but also has some pretty thought-provoking content. By that I mean stuff I agree with. And then this fellow, Brian Rose. I haven't checked out Rose's stuff other than this interview with Sears. Sears interviewed Rose, and I was watching, a meaningless, it wasn't meaningless. It was the NBA game, rooting for Jimmy Butler. But while I got that on, I got on with the sound off, and I'm listening to this interview where Sears is interviewing Rose. Rose, to call him the British Alex Jones, I think is not correct, but it gives you somewhat of an idea where you're at there, where it looks like he's a guy who's made a very successful channel. He's an American that lives in London, and he just interviews people, interviews celebrities, people that, a long-form type interview, which I guess apparently lots of people find it very popular to listen to these interviews. And they were talking about YouTube censorship, because both are YouTube guys, and now both have been subjected to YouTube censorship, despite the fact that both of them have over 1 million subscribers. Well, that reminds me, I saw we have 36 subscribers now. I'm losing track. I saw, the last guy I saw was Al Bundy, and then beyond that, thanks for being here. Congratulations for whoever 35 and 36 are. We don't give anything out. I don't have cool keychains or anything, but we'd certainly appreciate you subscribing. Who knows? Maybe we'll get to 1 million subscribers someday, and you could say, I was number 36. I doubt any of that's going to happen, but you never know. At any rate, they were discussing YouTube censorship, and I found it very interesting, since I'm, on YouTube. And there's just some things YouTube just doesn't tolerate, and it's all very arbitrary. That's what I've gathered from it, is that it's just, there's basically probably a handful of YouTube managers that just decide, all right, we'll let that go. Oh no, that's right, Al. You said, there's certain key phrases that will just get you censored, and I don't want to really, I hesitate to even mention them, just to tell you what these things are, because, these strikes that YouTube applies to their content makers are so damaging, so crippling, you don't even want to go there. It's total censorship. I mean, it's Nazi-esque, but hey, it's a private company, right? So they can do what they want, even though they have a monopoly, huh? So, all right, well, those two guys' channels if you're bored and want to see what they're about. But I thought that was something interesting I stumbled across, something new in my little universe. All right, let's go. Picks. Tonight, South Alabama hosting UAB. What should we call this? The battle for Birmingham? Well, no, they neither one. Well, yeah, they're in Birmingham, but the game's in Mobile. The battle for Mobile, maybe. When we last saw South Alabama, I guess they had won the Polk Salad Bowl and had beaten, big upset over Southern Mississippi, but then they had a narrow loss to Tulane. No shame there. UAB, they couldn't handle Miami of Florida. Couldn't handle them at all. We're going to go for the upset here tonight. We're going to go with South Alabama. Forgive me, I don't have our little stars memorized here. I'm going to have to keep checking. We like that pretty good, huh? We like that one as a 2-star game. I just think South Alabama, you know, I think they're on a little bit of a roll. The new coach seems to have, well, not new coach, he's been there 3 years. He seems to have found a formula that's working. I mean, a close loss to Tulane, that's no shame there. That's a pretty good team, Tulane. So we think we're getting some value here with the 7 points, a full touchdown. We'll go ahead with South Alabama. Perhaps UAB's just beat up a little bit. I mean, you know, that probably was a pretty tough game they played against Miami. So, all right, NFL, in case you don't know, that the Dolphins and Jaguars are not colleges. That's tonight. Smart money's on the Jaguars. Last time we said, well, the smart money's on the Raiders, and we went ahead and picked the Saints and lost. The smart money's on the Jaguars. This game's been bet from a pick'em up to Jaguars -3. I hate to do this, but I'm taking the Dolphins. Once again, we're going to go against the smart money. It has not paid off yet. A couple things here. I watched the highlights of this Jaguars Tennessee game. The Jaguars should have won that game. Minshew threw 2 bad interceptions. One at the end, he's got to go 20, 25 yards. He's got no timeouts, but you only got to go is 25 yards, dude, and it's the game-time field goal, and he just throws it right to a defensive lineman. Whoop, game over. They gave away a field goal at the end of the half, just being stupid, just, because their coaching staff are morons. There's 30 seconds left, and they go for an onside kick, which you're going to hit, even if you have surprised the other team, you're going to hit that maybe 30, 40% of the time. You got to have total Pearl Harbor surprise to execute an onside kick. I guess they thought they had that. Well, they didn't. The other team covered it, and then they got the field goal. The last second field goal at the end of the half, because I'm kicking, I get the ball at your 45. How stupid are you? So that was dumb, I think, and that's part of the reason why we're taking the Dolphins here. We think we might have a coaching advantage with the Dolphins. The Jaguars' best receiver, Chark, he's not playing. Their kicker is not playing. He hurt himself in the game Sunday. So they've got a brand new rookie kicker. We're going to take the chance here with the 3 points in the Dolphins. Maybe Minshew just overrated just a little bit here. Okay, so that takes care of your Thursday. Let's go on into the weekend. We got an extensive slate here. I think this is Friday, actually. Don't quote me on that, but I think this game's tomorrow. And we love us some San Antonio, of course. That's hard to pick there. I don't quite understand this line. Middle Tennessee State has been nothing but horrible. I mean, they've been destroyed by Army. They've been destroyed by Troy. And know that San Antonio is that much worse than those teams. So I think San Antonio's just going to run through these guys. San Antonio has some running game, so we definitely like that for 2 stars. Here we go. Appy State. They were not good against Marshall and got beat. They're running through the coaches. I made an error here. Apparently, I said last time around that Drinkwitz replaced Satterfield. Well, he did. Now he's gone. I forgot about that. Drinkwitz is now at Missouri. He was there 1 year and he's gone already. Now I don't even know who they're due to. Some other new guy's in there. So all this coaching turnover is not good for a program. We are going to take Campbell here. We saw, believe it or not, we saw a good portion of that Coastal Carolina Campbell game last weekend. You know, Friday night's my night to sit at the bar and have some beers and relax and listen to 70s disco music. But seriously, we go to the bar. The bar we go to is usually a collection of gay guys. No, literally, they are gay. And they're great guys. But they sit over there and they play like $25 worth of the same 70s disco kind of music, that dance, the Donna Summers, ABBA, the Bee Gees are in there, some other stuff. It's actually pretty good compared to some of the alternatives that are out there today. So I sit there and listen to my 70s dance music and, you know, watch whatever's on TV on the Friday night, which last Friday night was Campbell against Coastal Carolina. My thought was Campbell's just too damn good here to be getting 36.5 points. They're going to hold those guys down, maybe lose by 35, but I like Campbell here to hold these guys down. We don't like it that much. We like it for 1 star. Georgia Tech, Syracuse. Let's see. What do we got here? We got Syracuse. Interesting. Syracuse's offense is awful, but they play good defense. So we're thinking maybe they surprise Georgia Tech, and Georgia Tech gets frustrated, turns the ball over a couple times, games up in that dome. That's an unfamiliar. I think they still play at that dome. At any rate, so we're going to take Syracuse there. Let's see. Florida, Ole Miss. It looks like the money's coming in on Mississippi. I don't know. I mean, I don't think Lane Kiffin's much of a coach. And he's coming in there. That's his first game. We like Dan Mullen at Florida. We think he's a good coach. We think he's going to go out there and take care of business. We're going to lay the 13 and take Florida. All right. This is interesting. I've got on my spreadsheet here Oklahoma, Kansas State. It's not on the board. My model loves Oklahoma, and I just don't see it. They're 28-point favorites. I mean, they lost to Kansas State last year, and they're favored by 4 touchdowns. That just doesn't make any sense to me. So I didn't pick that game. I just threw that one away. I just couldn't do it. Let's see. Here, Liberty, Florida International. Well, this is a tough one. I mean, we love both of these coaches, Hugh Freeze and Butch Davis, but we're going to take the points. We're going to take Florida International. More than a touchdown, I guess. We like WVU here. Definitely there. We think they're building something. Oklahoma State, I don't know who's quarterbacking for them. Their starter, he was hurt last week, had to leave the games. I don't know if he's going to play or not. The college is always bad about that. It's not like the NFL where you got to have injury reports. You just don't know. Guy's hurt. Is he going to play? Is he not going to play? Their backups are just so, and West Virginia is a really good team. So say we. But I think that West Virginia is not a bad team, and I think they're going to go in there and give these guys trouble, especially if Tulsa gave them trouble. So West Virginia is better than Tulsa. All right, what else? Texas. I hate to say it, but I think old Tom Herman is building something there at Texas, and I kind of think he's just going to go out there to Lubbock and wax those guys. I hate to say it, but I kind of think Texas is back. I know that's been said 10 million times by 10 million people in the last 2-3 years, and it's never true. If they're not back, they're soon going to be back. They're coming. So we'll take Texas. We think they're the best team there easily. LSU, no Burrow, no Indiana. What? Elaire, that was the kid's name. The great Elaire is at Kansas City now. Lost the center too. Lost a lot of guys. That was the best team I think I've ever seen though. That LSU team last year. That team is going to be in the conversation as the best college team in history. So we're going to take them. You know, I don't know what's left, but we're going to say they're going to find enough to be a pretty pedestrian Mississippi State team. We're going to see LSU finds enough to get that done there. All right. I can't do it. My little model says I'm supposed to put 2 stars on this one. I'm putting 1 star. UTEP's awful. UTEP's awful. Apparently Monroe is awful too, but man, you know, we'll put 1 star on UTEP. See which team can undercome the other team. This one, gotta like this one. Brand new coach at Arkansas. Georgia scores a lot of points. Really, I think that's kind of a trend here throughout our picks. We're picking a lot of big favorites with big premium teams. You know, these coaches know this is a beauty show. So they're going to have to impress the committee with some big numbers. These guys know that. Kirby Smart knows that. Nick Saban knows that. Dan Mullen knows that. They're not going to go out there and just get up 24 points and call off the dogs. That's not going to happen. So we're going to lay that 27.5. Arkansas gives up 40 points a game. They don't have a defense. So Georgia should get some points. They absolutely should. We're laying the number here with Boston College. That's interesting. I wasn't that impressed with Boston College last week, but I think the thinking is Texas State gives up lots of yards through the air. And, you know, Boston College, they got that, pro-looking quarterback. Let me rephrase that. Pro-style quarterback. He doesn't look anything like a pro other than that size and that immobility. But, you know, if he's got any ability at all, he should have a half-decent game against Texas State. I think Texas State also has some trouble running the ball. Boston College has a good run defense, so if this turns out into a passing shootout where every play is a pass, you can see some huge numbers in this game, and Boston College will probably get, the best of it. Louisiana Tech, yeah, we like them. That was a really nice, gutty win they had against Southern Miss. Now playing sad old Houston Baptist. They should score lots of points on them. SMU, this is our top play again. They rewarded us with a top play victory last week, so I guess we're going to come right back with them. They could score. They could, 50, 60 points. I don't think Stephen F. Austin's going to be able to stop them. SMU should be in the 40s and 50s here. We're taking Alabama, again, big favorite. Again, Nick Saban, he's not calling the dogs off. He's not calling the dogs off. Not at Missouri, no sir. I mean, Saban, when he's getting out of conference opponent, he'll often, pull his punches. Have a gentleman's a 42-3 big win or something like that. He has to fill out a schedule every year. He doesn't want these guys to not schedule him because he embarrassed them. So he'll pull his punches. Well, these guys gotta play him. So he's got no reason whatsoever to pull his punches on these SEC opponents. These are the guys he wants to stick it to, and he does stick it to. So we kind of think that's what's going to happen here. He's going to wax Missouri. That's where Drinkwitz went. So he's a brand new coach. I mean, he's probably a pretty good coach. He's only 38. But, that's tough, man. You have 1 year under your belt at Appy State with another coach's team. That's your experience. Now you're a head coach in the SEC about to take on Nick Saban. We'll take Alabama. Oops. Screen goes dark. Let's see. We're going to take Tennessee here. Kind of like just have a feel for that one. Jeremy Pruitt, I think he's maybe moving that team forward. Tennessee used to be a thing. I mean, they used to be a really good team. He won at least one national championship in my lifetime. And South Carolina, there's a ceiling there with South Carolina. That's a team that's only ever going to get so good, I think, in the SEC with these other massive recruiting monsters. South Carolina just is not that team. Tennessee, if they are getting better, then they're going to beat South Carolina, and we think they are getting better. Baylor and Kansas. Oh, we got to take Baylor. I mean, Kansas, they can't handle Sun Belt teams. And we don't think much of Les Miles. So we're going to take Baylor there. Well, again, here we have, your one-star Jimbo Fisher blowout theory. He's going to take care of business against Vandy. Justin Fuente, he's been there now about 4 years at Virginia Tech. I think if he's ever going to get his system straight at Virginia Tech, now's the time. It's about time for him to have a big year there. So we think he's got a beatable opponent coming in there. You're not laying a hateful price. We'll take Virginia Tech. Here we go. We'll take Missouri State. I couldn't even give you a rationale there. But we're going to take them. And lastly, we're going to take BYU. Both teams coming off huge blowouts. But this game's up in the mountains. I don't think this is a good spot here for Troy. They're used to the humidity, the thick, heavy air. Now you're going out in the thin, dry air of Utah. It's just different out there. And if you've never played in that sort of environment, you might have a little bit of a learning curve. BYU looked incredible against Navy. Now, I think some of that is just that Navy just needed, some reps to get into football shape. There's no way BYU was as good as they looked at Navy, but still, I think they're good enough to get it done here versus Troy. So there you have it. What do we got? 20-some games, 22 games or something. We'll see what happens. My God, we need to get some W's on the board here. I think we will. Sooner or later, we're going to start churning out some wins. We're going to start, it'll turn around, I hope. I've done this long enough to know that, we generally do occasionally win. This could be just a totally, a year that just doesn't count, doesn't matter because of the COVID. We'll find out. I mean, I'm looking at this trying to find out which ones I feel the best about. I like that SMU. I do like that. I like San Antonio there. I'm laying less than a touchdown with the team that's just gotten destroyed in 2 straight weeks. I like that. problem is that you just haven't seen a lot of these teams, you know. It's hard to tell, and none of the SEC teams have played, so you don't know exactly what you're getting with any of them. You're just kind of playing on coaching tendencies. All right. Thanks for being here. Thanks for subscribing, all new subscribers. We'll do the best we can here to get, well, we will. We'll have the NFL picks up by tomorrow, and we'll see what happens. So let's get some W's, good college football, good afternoon, good gambling.